Hello everyone, my name is Priya and I welcome all of you to the session. In this session, we will be discussing about arrays in JavaScript. So everything from the scratch we are going to cover means how to declare one array in JavaScript. Okay, how memory will be allocated for array, the different built-in methods which I have listed over here. So each of this method we are going to explore. Okay. So once we start with our React.js journey, once we start building different projects, so there you will understand what are the different use cases of all these methods. Okay. So first let's start with declaration of array in JavaScript. Okay. So this is our fifth session of our JavaScript journey. So I already have created one folder with the name session 5. Inside that I have created one file with the name arrays.js. Okay. So first we will declare one array in JavaScript. Okay. So whenever we want to declare one variable in JavaScript, var, let or const we have to use. Difference we will understand later. Okay. So I have used let over here. Then I will give one variable name as a names. Okay. So now inside this variable, I don't want to store a single name like this. Okay. Rather, I want to store some group of values. And on those group of values, later I want to perform some searching, sorting operations. So whenever you want to store some group of values to perform certain operations, we have different data structures to store those group of values. Okay. So data structure is nothing but this container you can assume. Okay. Multiple types of containers we have where we can store the value. Okay. So if you use this square brackets container to store the group of values, that's what we call it as array data structure. Okay. So now inside this array, I'm going to store, you can check carefully, Priya. One more name I'm going to store over here, single quote, double quote, doesn't matter. Okay. Ankit. One more name I'm going to store over here, let's say Pooja. Okay. 3 names I have stored. That's all. So this is what we call it as a declaration of arrays in JavaScript. What is the name of array? Names is the name of array. In the similar way, let's say I have created one more array with the name details. Okay. Now inside this, I want to store one name. Okay, Priya. Age I want to store. Next, let's say one Boolean value I want to store. Okay, what else we have in under primitive types of data? We have a string, we have a number, we have a floating point numbers as well. So I'll just store 50.5. Okay, 55.5. So here, this example I have taken just to tell you that any type of data you can store inside this container. Okay, that's all. So this is your string of array and this is your different types of data is present inside this array. Okay, so you can create one more array, let's say with the name person. Okay, this is one array. So you can create array of objects like this. This is object 1, object 2, object 3. Okay, these are the JavaScript objects. Inside this objects key value pairs we can store. For example, let's say name. I'm going to store it as Priya. Okay, you can store the age is let's say 29. In the similar way, one more object I have where name is Ankit and age is let's say 29, same age we will provide. Okay, 2 objects I will take as of now over here. This we will remove. Yeah. So you can check over here. This is the array of string, array of mixed type of data, array of objects. So any type of primitive data you can store into the array or reference type of data also you can store into your array. Okay. Not only to that, you can declare array into array. Okay, for example, let's say I have created one array with the name ARR1 is equal to, this is my array in which 1, 2, 3 I have stored. After that, one more array I have declared in this 4, 5. So you can check over here. This is my array and I have array inside array. This is one more array I have declared in this. In the similar way, again here one more array you can declare like this. Okay, so this is what we call it as a nested array. One inside another you can declare. So if you are thinking, ma'am, when these arrays are required, means why do we need to store objects in array? Why do we need to store nested array like this? Everything you will understand once we start with the project sessions. Okay, this all concepts are required over there. So at that time you should not get confused. Okay, how to declare array inside array, how we can store objects inside array. Okay, there you should not get confused. Okay, so these are the different ways of declaring the arrays. Sorry, these are the different values we can store into our array. Okay, so now let's target this person array. Okay, this person array. Now I want to print this array. Then what I have to write? I have to just write console.log person. That's all, right? So I'll just write person. Okay, then what it will print? Let's see. So we are using node environment, right, to execute the code. So here also we will be using node environment only. So currently I am present inside the folder session 5. Okay, so this is my session 5. Okay, now here I want to execute array.js. Arrays.js. Okay, so you can check I got one array data structure. What is array data structure? Data structure is nothing but one container where you can store your data to perform certain operations like sorting, searching, okay, for some specific requirement. In the similar way, if we use square brackets to store the data, that's what we call it as an array data structure. And what is present inside this array? Objects are present. You can check carefully. Okay, JavaScript objects, key value pair, that's all. Okay, so now I am going to clear this. Okay, so now in the similar way, let's declare one more array. Okay, I'll give the array name as arr1, in which I'm going to store some numbers like this. Okay, let's give one more number. Okay, on the next line, we'll just write arr1. That's all. So now if I save the code, two different array objects we have declared. Okay, so now if we execute node, sorry, previous command, I'll just directly execute like this. Okay, so this is your value of arr1 and this is your value of person. Okay, actually they are storing the reference of array. Now what is the meaning of reference of array? Let's understand about it. Okay. Okay, so here I have declared two arrays. First array name is arr1, second array name is arr2. Basically here we are understanding how memory will be allocated for these arrays. Okay, not in detail, but why we call this array as a reference type of data, that we are understanding. Okay, so actually this arr1 is not holding this complete array, rather these are the objects. Okay, so let me just draw over here. In the previous sessions, we understood that in memory, we have two different parts, right? One is stack segment of the memory and next is heap segment of the memory, correct, right? So let's say this is the stack segment of memory and this is heap segment of memory. Okay, so in heap segment, always objects will be stored. Do remember this. So now in this heap segment, I'll just write it over here. Objects will be stored. Okay. Okay, understood. Now, how the one array will be created in the memory? Let's understand about this. So first, this line will be executed, assignment operator. So first right part will be executed, then left part will be executed, right? So what is right part? Creation of array object. Objects will be always created in the heap segment of memory. Okay, so one object will be created like this, and inside this object we have a complete array like this. As of now you can assume. Okay, in detail later we will discuss. Okay, so now let's say the address of this object is 1000. For each object there will be one address, correct, right, where it got created. 1000 is the address of object. So your arr1, which is a reference variable, will hold address of that object 1000 like this, and it is pointing towards this object. Okay, so that's why on the next line, if you try to print console.log, print the value of arr1, so it won't print 1000 because 1000 is the reference address of your object. So it will print the exact object where it is referring towards. So if you try to print the reference variable, it will print the object where it is referring towards. This is what we call it as a reference variable. So what is reference variable? The variables which stores the address of object, that's what we call it as a reference variable. Okay, In the similar way, ARR2 also will be created in your memory. Okay, how? Like this. Let me just show you stack and heap segment. Okay, this line we will just remove from here. Okay. So now one more object will be created when this line will be executed, right side. Okay, let's say one object got created like this. Inside this, we have a elements 40, we have a 50, and we have a 60. This is your complete array got created. Let's say address of your object is 2000 now. Okay, this is the address of your array object. So now your ARR2, once object is ready, now right part will be executed. So your ARR2 will hold address of this object and it is pointing towards this object. That's all. Okay. So that's why if you try to print console.log of ARR2, ARR2 is a normal variable or reference variable. Yes, it is your reference variable. Okay. So if they are holding the address of object and if you ask to print ARR2, it won't print address. Rather, it will print one object which is present at that address. So that's why you will be getting output, this array in output. Okay. So this is how arrays will be declared in the memory. Okay. In detail, how this each value will be stored in the memory, that discussion we will be having in the upcoming sessions. Okay. So let's move ahead. So we understood how arrays will occupy memory, correct, right? So now it's time to understand how we can access each of this element from our array, okay? So this second array we will discuss later. First, let's target our first array, this ARR1. So if you try to print the complete array like this, we go with console.log ARR1. But for each element which is present in an array, there will be one index number. Like how in your books you have an index, correct, right? In index you will be getting the page number and the topic name, correct? So in the similar way, for each of this topic you can consider there is one index number. Okay, so if I want to just print ARR1 of 0th index value, see the syntax, ARR1 of 0th index value, so 0th index value is 10. Okay, in the similar way, I'm going to print ARR1 of first index value. Okay, in the similar way, we will try to print ARR2 of second index value. Okay, next ARR1 of third index value. Array name is ARR1 only, correct, right? So this is 0th index value, first index value, second index value, third index value. So this is your 0, first, second, third, fourth index value also is there. So let's print it. So I'll just write ARR1 of fourth index value I want to print. So now if I save this code, let's clear the terminal and let's execute it. So as you can check, each of the element we are getting over here. So you can write it over here like this, element of index 0. Like this also we can write element of index 0. In the similar way, I'll just write it over here, element of index 1. Instead of 0, we'll make it 1. Okay. So like that you can print the other statements as well. Now if I clear this, see, I'm getting element of index 0 is 10, element of index 1 is 20 and so on. So same you can print with the help of for loop as well. Okay, multiple times same line instead of writing. We can simply use for loop like this, for, okay. Let's declare one variable I and we'll initialize it with the value 0. Okay, we have to check whether I is less than, array name is ARR1 dot length. Okay, and next I plus plus. Now what is ARR1 dot length? Let's discuss over here. Okay, so here only I'll just write what is our array name, ARR1 dot length. What is the length of our array? So if I just execute this much part of my code, so you can check length of our array is 5. So 5 times your loop will iterate, first for 0, next for 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all, not 5. because I want I should be less than this arr1 dot length. Okay, so now inside this loop, I'm going to print what, like this, element at index. I want the value of I, so I'll just write I. So instead of this, directly we can go with string formatting. See, like this. We'll use the backtick and we will write element at index, dollar symbol, and here we will write the variable name I is. And then we will write it over here, whatever is present in arr1 of I. Okay, that's all. So what is the meaning of this? First in I 0 will come, correct? So is 0 less than array dot length? What is the array dot length? 5. So is 0 less than 5? Yes, condition is true. So it will print element at index 0 is arr1 of 0 is 10. Okay. In the similar way, it will iterate and finally we will be getting our output like this. So you can check element at index 0 is 10, 1 is 20, 2 is 30. So for each element of your array, there is one index number. Do remember this, okay? And here we have learned how we can access elements from our array by using the for loop. In the similar way, here also, if I want to go through this person array, then I have to just change the name over here. I'll just write person dot length. Okay, that's all. So element at index 0 is, here also we will just write person of I. So this is our complete code. So let's try to check our output. I'll just clear this. Okay. So you can check over here, element at index 0 is one object is present, correct? And element at index 1 is again one object is present. JavaScript objects. These are the objects. If you are thinking, ma'am, it should return the output similar like this, then some methods we have to use. Okay. So JSON methods we will be exploring in the upcoming sessions. As of now, let it be as it is. Okay. We have to convert it into string and then we have to print it actually. Okay. So yeah, so here we have learned how we can declare our array and how we can access elements from our array. Okay, that's all. So now next we will be discussing about different built-in methods which we have in array. Okay, so let's put it in comment everything. Complete code you will be getting in your notes. Okay, so don't worry. So now I'll just go back and let's explore each of the method. First is push and pop we will explore. Okay, very easy methods are there to understand. Okay, but it is little difficult to remember. Okay, so let's start. First, I'm going to declare one array. Let me take my cursor over here. My array name is numbers, inside which I'm going to store 10, 20, 30, 40. That's all. So now on the next line, I'll just write numbers dot push. Okay, 50. So what will happen? This 50 will be added into this array. Array already got created. When JavaScript will execute this line, at that time one object is ready in which 4 values are present. And this is the reference variable for your object. So I'm saying go to that reference variable and add 50 at the end of your array. Okay, it will add 50 at the end of your array. Okay, if you want to print numbers, you can print it like this. Okay, so you can check 50 got added at the end of your array. So this is how your push method works. Okay, but now what I want is whatever the number I have at the end of my array, I want to delete that number. Means this 40 I want to remove from this array. So I need to just write numbers dot pop method. Okay, I'm going to call pop method over here. So which element got deleted? That if you want to check here, I'll just declare one variable with the name deleted element or removed element we can write. Okay. Removed element. Okay. So on the next line, we will print number also and we are going to print removed element as well. Okay. Removed element. Yeah. So now I'm just going to clear this. We'll execute this. You can check this is your array where 40 got removed and this is your removed element. Still, if you are thinking, ma'am, when to use this? have a patience. Once we start with project session, there these requirements will come for sure, where we have to check. First we have to remove the elements from our array, and we want to, if we want to check which element actually got removed, then yes, your pop method deletes last element from your array. Okay, not only to that, it returns that into this variable we have collected it. Okay, that's all. So now let's move towards the next now. Next we have shift and unshift. If you want to delete element from the end of array, pop. If you want to add element at the end of array, push we have used. But now let's say I want to add one element at the beginning of an array. Okay, so I'll just write it like this: numbers dot unshift. And here I'm going to write 5. That's all. On the next line, if I try to print numbers, okay. So if you check over here, see 5 will be added at the beginning of your array. So unshift method will add element at the beginning of your array. In the similar way, let's say you want to delete that element from the beginning of an array, okay. Whichever the element is present at 0th index value, I want to delete it. So I'm going to use something called as shift. That's all. That deleted element, removed element, you can store inside this variable, removed element, like this. Okay. So on the next line, we will print the numbers, and we are going to print removed element like this. Okay. So we'll clear this and we'll execute it over here. So you can check element from the beginning of your array got removed. Okay. So let's quickly revise 4 methods we have discussed. If you want to remove elements from the end of your array, then not push, pop. If you want to add element at the end of your array, then go with push. If you want to add element at the beginning, go with unshift. If you want to remove element from the beginning, go with shift. Okay. So now next we have something called as splice method. Okay. So let's discuss about it. Splice method. So I'll just remove this. Now, if you want to add some new elements, not one single element, multiple elements, then you can go with the splice. Means let's say at the middle, if I want to add some elements, then we can go with the splice. Okay. So I can write it like this: numbers dot splice. Okay. So this splice will accept multiple arguments, as you can check over here. Okay. This is directly example. Okay. Here we have a syntax: start, delete count, and new elements to be added. Okay. So first we have to give the starting index. Let's say starting index I want to give as a 1. Okay. Delete count is 2. Elements to be added is 100 and 200. Okay. On the next line, I'm going to print whatever is present in numbers. Okay. Understood. So now let's see what will be the output of this. Okay. This is the output I'm getting. Not only to that, here I'm going to declare one more element with the name removed elements. Okay, or deleted elements. Basically, we have deleted it. So I'll just write deleted elements. Okay, and here I'm going to just write console.log deleted elements. Okay, so let me check our output. Yeah, like this we are getting our output. But the question is how splice works. Okay, that we need to understand. Okay, so here I have written the same code. So let's understand how splice works. First, you need to remember the syntax of splice. Okay, so what is the syntax? First argument is nothing but the start index. Second argument is nothing but delete count. Okay, so here I'll just mention delete count. And what in all the elements you will give next? 2 elements, 5 elements, how much ever you want, you can provide over here. This is what we call it as elements to be added. Okay, we'll just write elements to be added like this. These elements will be added into your array. So how it works? Let's understand about this. Okay. So once your JavaScript will execute this line, then what will happen? One object will be created in the heap segment. Let's consider like this, inside which we have a 10, 20, 30 and 40. That's all. Let's say this object got created at address 1000 in the memory. Correct, right? So now the question is, who stores this address? So your numbers variable, correct, right? Once object is ready, then right part will be executed. So your numbers variable will hold the address of object, which is nothing but 1000, and it is pointing towards this object. Okay, now again assignment operator we have, correct? So first this part will be executed, right part. So we have mentioned over here numbers dot. So numbers is holding reference, dot means go inside this object. Okay, splice start index is 1. As I have told, for each element there will be one index, right? So index of 10 is 0, index of 20 is 1, 2 and 3. These are the index value provided by language itself. We won't provide it, okay? So you have mentioned target or start from index 1. So it will target this particular index value. So this is your basically the start index which you have given as an argument in the splice. Okay, targeted. So how many elements you want to delete? What is the delete count? 2. So 2 elements will be deleted. From where? From the start index which we have provided. Okay. So you can check over here. This is the first element deleted. This is the second element deleted. So 2 elements deleted. So after that, what new you want to add? I want to add 100 and 200. So basically now what happens? Carefully you observe. This is your object now. Updated object I am showing over here. Not a new object, same object. Address will be 1000 only. Okay. And your numbers will be pointing over here. Numbers will hold 1000 and it is pointing towards this array. Okay. So here I am just showing updated array. Updated array. Okay. So now whatever the elements got deleted, it will wrap those elements into array and that will be returned into this variable deleted elements. Okay, this is how it works. So now in the new array, see this 10 will be as it is from the previous array, index will be 0 as it is. Okay, after that, from wherever you have deleted the elements, first it will add elements from that point. Okay, until here I deleted element until second index value. So here it will start adding elements first. Okay, what new elements you want to add? We have provided 100 and 200. So first 100 will be added, then 200 will be added. What are the remaining elements? 40. So 40 will be added at the end. So that's why if you write console.log numbers, this is your array output. Okay, these are the index values I have given 0, 1, 2, 3 index values. And if you try to print a deleted element, so these are the deleted elements will be returned over here. So this is how your splice works in JavaScript. I hope I am clear with this. Okay. So this is all about splice we have covered. Okay. So now it's time to discuss about slice method. Slice means cutting. Okay. Some part of my array I want to cut and I want to return in result. Okay. So original array will be as it is. Okay. So let me write it over here. I'll just write it over here like sliced array. This is one variable name. So I'll just write go inside the numbers array, okay, and slice, cut some part. In original array, it won't cut the part. From that original array, it will just take that part and it will return. It will store inside this sliced array. Original array will be as it is. Okay, I'll show you over here. Slice means cutting. Okay, which portion you want? Let's say 20 and 30 I want. So what is the index value of 20? 1. Okay, start from 1. What is the index value of 30? 0, 1, 2. 2. Okay. So start from 1 and go up to 2 I have mentioned. So let me see what will be the output in sliced array. Okay. So we'll just write console.log. Okay. Sliced array like this. So we'll save the code. Now it's time to execute this. I'll just clear this. Yeah. So you can check only 20 I am getting. But what I want 20 and 30 both, right? So do remember your slice method. Slice will take the start index and end index until where you want to cut. But -1 it will consider. Whatever the end index you will provide, always it will go until -1. For example, if you have given 2, so it will start from first index value. 2 minus 1 is 1, so it will go until first index only. So if you want to go until second index value, then you have to give 3. If you want to go until fourth index value, for example, start from 1, 2, 3. This complete 3 elements I want in the output. So last index element is 0, 1, 2, 3. But we have to mention over here 4 because it will consider -1. Okay. Do remember, now if I execute this part of the code, yeah, like this we are getting our output. And if you try to check it out your original array, it will be as it is. Okay. Let's try it out. Yeah, this is your original array, which is as it is. Okay, do remember this. This is how slice works. Okay, so now next we have something called as includes. Here only we will understand. You can create one array like this. Now in this array, I wanted to check whether mango is present or not. So I'm going to just write it over here. Fruits. Okay, this is the name of my array. Dot means go inside it and execute includes function. So includes will check what value we have mentioned over here, mango. Is mango present inside this array? If yes, then it will return true. If no, it will return false. That's all. So you can try it out by yourself. Okay. In the similar way, we have an index of. If you want to get the index, for example, let's say this is your animal array. Okay. In that, I want to check the index of cat. Let me copy this as it is. I'll just remove this. We'll paste it over here. Now it's time to execute. See, you are getting 1 because index of cat is 1 only. So if you want to check index of some specific element, then you can go with this index of method in JavaScript. Okay. After that, we have a last index of also. We have a find index, find method, join. Okay. Sort actually won't sort the numbers, rather it sort alphabetically. Okay. So do remember this, how it works. Still, if you want to sort the numbers, you have to go with this logic. Okay, that's all. Little bit research if you do about this, you will understand it, not a rocket science. Okay. Then we have a for each method. Okay. Like this, we can use the for each method. Now, this for each method accepts callback function as an argument. You can check here is one complete function. So I'm going to explain for each method for you over here. Okay, which is little new for you. Okay. So now what is our array name, object name, animals dot. Okay, for each method. This is a method I have called. Now inside this, I'm going to use the arrow function, which are anonymous function. If you won't provide any name for the arrow function, nothing will happen. What is the syntax of arrow function? Bracket, arrow, curly bracket. Instead of arrow function, you can give any function type over here. You can write it simply like this, function. This is also fine. Okay, function. Name is not required over here. Okay. So now this is my for each method, and while calling this as an argument, I am passing one more function. Okay. Here we will give one variable name. Let's say each element. Okay. Now inside this function, you can check I am writing console.log each element. Okay. So now it's time to observe our output. I'll just clear this. We'll execute it. So what is happening over here? This dog first will come inside this and this function will be executed. Next, cat will come inside this parameter. This function will be executed. Then cow will come. So for each element of your animals array, this function will be executed. That's what we call it as a for each method. For example, let's say we have given one array with the name numbers. Okay, this is my array name. Inside this array, I have stored multiple value 10, 20, 30. So now I want to add +5 to each element and I want to display it. So I can just write each element +5. That's all. So now if I clear and if we execute it, okay, what happened? Let me check. Reference error, animals. Okay, we should change name over here as well, right? Numbers. That's all. So now I'm going to clear this and let's execute. You can check. 5 got added into each element of your array. Your original array is as it is. It will just iterate through each element, and for each element this function will be executed. And each element will come into the parameter of this function automatically. This is the magic of forEach method. Okay, do remember this. So in the similar way, we have other array methods, like we have a filter, okay, we have a map, and along with that, we have something called as reduce as well. So let's understand about filter, map, reduce together, okay? So let's understand filter, map, and reduce over here, okay? So let's say, first we'll start with filter. Let's say we have an array like this, 10, 20, or let's say 11 and 21, okay? So now from this array, I want to filter out all the even elements, correct, right? So let's filter out, okay? So you only tell me now, first element, is this 10 is even element? Yes. So 10, we will take it into the new array. Is it 20 even? Yes. Is 11 even? No, it is odd number. Is 21 even? No, it is odd number. So we have filter out 10 and 20 from that array, okay, based on one condition. So whenever you are filtering some elements based on some condition, that's what we call it as a filter, okay. Now let's go towards the map. Now in map, let's say we have an array like this, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I want to find out the square of each element which is present in this array. Square I want. So what is the square of 1? It is 1. What is the square of 2? It is 4. Square of 3, 9. Square of 4, 16. Correct, right? So whenever you want to go to each element of your array, and if you want to perform some operation, if you want to modify them, then you have to go with map. Okay, do remember this. Okay. So now third is reduce. Now reduce means what? Let's say I have elements like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to find out the sum of all elements which are present in this array. So sum of all elements is 10, right? 10, correct. So now whenever I am reducing my output to a single value, this is my single valued output. That's where we use reduce method in JavaScript, okay? So when we have to filter, when you want to filter out some elements, okay, then we go with filter based on condition. We will go to each element. If condition is true, we will take it into the array. If condition is false, we will eliminate them. That's all. But if you want to go to each element and perform some operations, then we have to go with this, okay? And if you want to reduce the output to a single value, then go with reduce, okay? I hope I am clear with this. So if it is clear, now you tell me, if we have an array like this in which I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I want the product of complete array. Then which method should I use? Filter, map or reduce? Product I want. Output should be 24. So if you are thinking about reduce, you are absolutely correct, because I am reducing my output to a single value. On the similar way, let's say I have an array like this. I want to add +2 to each element of my array. +2 I want to add into each element. Then which method you will use? See, here like this I want output. 2 plus 1, 3. 2 plus 2, 4. 3 plus 2, 5. 4 plus 2, 6. So if you are modifying each element if you are modifying, that's where we use map, correct, right? And filter is filtering out elements based on some condition. That's all. This is how we have filter, map and reduce in JavaScript, okay? So let's try it out practically now. So let's go with first filter, okay? Let's say we have one array with these numbers, okay? Actually, odd numbers are not present in this array, so we will store like this, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So I want to filter out even numbers. So I'll declare one variable with the name even, okay? So I'll just write numbers dot. We will write filter over here. Now filter, this method accepts callback function like this. Okay. So here I am going to give one parameter name, let's say each element. So each element of your array numbers will come inside this parameter. So basically for each element of your numbers, this function will be executed, which is present inside this filter. Okay. So now what you want to filter out, what is the condition? Single expression is there, so parentheses are not required. Okay. If you are using parentheses, then it is must to write return statement. Okay. What you want to return? What is the condition? So I'll give the condition. Go to each element and check modulus of 2 whether it is equal to 0 or not. Strict equality operator I am using. Okay. So now it's time to print our even variable. Okay. We'll save the code and let's execute it. So I'm getting all the even elements over here. If you want to write the code in even more in concise way, then what we can do? See, I'm going to remove this complete part. Filter will accept one arrow function like this or any function, okay, whichever you want, whichever the type you want. Each element or only ELE I will declare over here. So what is our condition? Single line expression, if we have curly brackets are not required, directly provide the condition. If a ELE modulus of 2 is equal to 0, then we will return it. Okay, so in one single line we can filter out all elements, we can filter all even elements from this array. Okay, all odd elements will be removed. So yes, so how it works? First 10 will come inside this variable. It will check condition. 10 modulus of 2 is equal to 0. If condition is true, then it will be returned into this even array. This filter will return array. Okay, inside that array only those elements will be stored where this condition is true. That's all. Okay, in the similar way, now we have to use map. See, if I give map, okay, and let's say I want to return square of each element, so you can just write it like this, square of each element. If you want to find out cube, you write it cube, or fourth root. Okay, like that you can write it. Okay, I want the square of element. So we can go with the map. Map will help you to go to each element and it will help you to find out the square of each element. That's all. We should not use filter over here. If you are writing filter over here, then we don't want expression like this. Rather, we want a condition over there. Okay, if condition you are giving, then filter. If expression you are giving, then we should not use filter. Okay, if you by mistake use, okay, like this, we are getting our output as it is elements got returned. Okay, do remember this. So now instead of filter, now it's time to use reduce. Okay, so reduce will accept actually two arguments. First one is a function and second one is accumulator or initial value. Now what does it mean? Let's understand. I'm going to give arrow function over here. Okay, like this. So now, as we already have learned, each element will come inside this parameter, correct, right? So now what is the output you want to return? I'll just write it, return statement. Okay, I want to return, but what? So when we are using reduce, we should not give only one single parameter over here, rather two parameters are required. So I'm going to give first accumulator and something called as current element, like this. Now, what is the meaning of this? See, whatever the second argument I have given 0, 0 automatically will come in accumulator. And in this current second variable, this 10 will come. This 10 will come. So, what expression you want to write over here? Do you want to return sum of array? If yes, you have to just write accumulator plus current value. So now what will happen? First in accumulator 0 will come and in current value this first element of your numbers array 10 will come. So 0 plus 10 result is 10. 10 will be stored in accumulator. Automatically this will happen internally. So next element of array is 11. So now 10 plus 11 will be evaluated and result will be stored in accumulator. So like that we can find addition of array elements, which is nothing but 60. If you want the product of all elements of your array, just write multiplication over here. And now if I clear and re-execute it. Yeah. So we are getting 0 because initial value 0 we should not give while performing multiplication. Rather 1 we should give. Correct, right? So now if I execute, see, this is the multiplication of all elements which are present in your array. Okay, like this, your reduce works. I hope I'm clear with this. Okay. So yes, these are the different methods which we have in our array. So this complete notes you will be getting in your description. Okay, in the video description, you can collect it from there and you can have your revision. Okay, in the upcoming sessions, we will discuss more about the array, and once we complete it, we'll move towards the next session. So this is all about arrays in JavaScript. Okay, so we'll meet in the next session. Until then, take care all of you and wish you all the best to all. Thank you.